Hello and good morning. Today is exam day. We're taking our OB exam this morning. I literally have 15 minutes and I am like, that's kind of what's happening in my brain right now. That's usually kind of what happens morning of exams. I'm gonna drink some green tea. I'm also eating some yogurt for breakfast. And yes, that's a coconut macaroon in there. I actually have 3 in there. I really like plain yogurt and coconut macaroons. It's something about them. Yeah, very excited to get done with this exam. 15 minutes. I'm gonna sit here and honestly not study. I'm gonna deep breathe and just be for the next 15 minutes before I have to log into Zoom on one side and then the exam on the other side. So, let me show you guys what the setup usually looks like for an exam. We've been taking all our exams virtually. I think this is like a relic of the COVID era, but essentially this is my computer. This is where I'll take the exam, and then I have my Zoom set up, and this is kind of where they watch you take the exam. Make sure there's nothing going on. And yeah. Okay. All right. I will most probably see you guys after this exam, and that's very exciting for me. I'm very excited by that. All right. Wish me luck. See you guys in a little bit. We're done! I cannot begin to tell you how good it feels to be done with an exam. Any exam. Doesn't even matter what exam, just any exam. I'm the worst at telling how I did on exams. Like, I cannot ever tell, which I feel like is like a flaw. Like, I should definitely work on it, because you should be able to know objectively how you're doing, how things are going. My brain just can't function in that way. So I'm just glad to be done. This weekend is kind of going to be a chill weekend for me because I'm done with the whole rotation. It was a rough rotation. Starting off the chill weekend is being done with an exam. Secondly, I'm hosting like a little movie night with a few friends tonight. But before that, I'm gonna do all the self-care stuff that I love to do. And the first thing, this is like a really odd thing, but one of my favorite self-care things is to oil my hair. And I know that sounds weird, potentially, but there's just something so soothing about using like a really nice smelling oil, and you know you're doing something really good for your scalp. I'm like all about skincare, hair care, nail care, body care, like all that stuff makes me so happy. All right, so hair is oiled, and I usually keep it overnight, but these days, just limited time, all that, I'm gonna keep it in for just like 2 hours or so, 2-3 hours. Now the plan is I'm gonna clean the entire apartment. I'm gonna take out the trash, just like really make this place clean. Like mopping, vacuuming, I need to do all of it. And once that's done, I think I'm gonna go get a workout in. I actually worked out yesterday, but I feel like I wasn't as like effective as I usually am, so gonna work out today. After cleanings first, let's clean this apartment. So I finally changed into my workout clothes. It took me like 45 minutes to motivate myself to get up to work out because I don't know, I was like not feeling it, but I'm ready. I'm in my workout clothes. I'll show you guys the sports bra and the leggings I'm wearing. They're both from Amazon and I really like them. All right, so this is the sports bra I'm wearing. I really like it. It's like very high impact, like keeps you very nice and secure. And then these are the leggings, also from Amazon. And they're just like, I hate leggings that have, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I hate leggings that have like a very thick band over here that like is like compressing you in. These are thankfully not like that. So I love them. And then just long socks, also from Amazon. So I'm pretty much an Amazon girly today. All right, we are gonna go work out. Hi, so it's the next day, I'm much later on, but I like wanted to come on, and honestly, this is so, I don't know, I've been like thinking about this topic for a little bit, and something that's like come up so much is imposter syndrome. And you know, it's funny because imposter syndrome, funny like in a sad way, because imposter syndrome is one of the things that I feel like I hear the most about from most people. Like they won't even like call it imposter syndrome, but the amount of times I've seen it described, and something that I've seen like my friends or like just people in my class experiencing, is kind of crazy. And it makes sense, especially in medicine. It makes sense because I feel like medicine over, I don't know, eons has been described as this field which is like for the select few and for the people who are like built different, and I don't know, there's like just like this aura or like the way people talk about it which feels very removed for like most, like for people when they like think about themselves. And I think that was definitely true for me too, and especially considering the fact that I'm like relatively non-traditional. I definitely had, I think, like earlier thoughts around whether or not I belonged in this field and whether or not I could cut it, or I like had the ability, or like I would always compare myself to other people and be like, they are doing XYZ better, they are just built different, built for it, and like all these like thoughts. But I don't know, it's like something that I haven't necessarily struggled with as much since I decided like for sure that medicine was for me. And I think part of it is that at one point I just realized that it wasn't about something that was so intrinsic to the person, like being in this field, being able to cut it in this field. It was just about how someone dealt with their emotions as they came up when they went through something tough, or when they went through really hard things as they tried to get into the field and as they tried to kind of climb further on and go through all the levels and steps and exams and everything that you have to go through. And at that point, like when I was like, okay, it's just about how you think about it and how you navigate some of those challenges, like internally, not even like externally, because I'm such a big believer in like your thought process really determining your actions at the end of the day. So I was like, if it's all just about how you think about it, it changes everything. And I was like, well, if that's it, then all I really need is to believe that I belong, and everything else becomes so much easier. And I don't even know if I'm making any sense. I don't know if this is helpful in any way, but I don't know, I was like trying to explain it to my friend as well, and they were talking about like imposter syndrome and feeling so much imposter syndrome about third year, about step 2, about applying to specialties, and like just like feeling like they're constantly second guessing the decisions that they were making because they just weren't sure if they belonged or if they could cut it or if they were able to like do what they needed to do. And I'm like, if you just like stop for 1 second and tell yourself that you belong, that the only difference between you and like achieving your goals is you believing that you can achieve your goals and then acting accordingly, it changes the game. You never then question whether or not you can cut it. You never question whether or not you can accomplish it, because you believe that you will, and then you put actions into that belief. Like, you do what your thought process is like telling you to do, and you act in accordance with the strong belief that you have that you belong. It's one of the things that has helped me so much throughout this journey, because don't get me wrong, there are definitely like some times where I'll have a thought where I'm like, oh gosh, this feels really hard, this feels really difficult, like, do I belong in this field? And I think over time it's become so much easier to uncouple that thought, like, rather than anytime being like, this is so hard, and then not creating a story around myself and my own like belongingness, if that makes sense, that correlates to whether or not I'm thinking about something as being hard or not, changed the game for me. Because when something was hard, I didn't make up stories about myself, about whether I deserved to be here, whether I could cut it or not, whether I could achieve the goals I had, or still to this day, if I can achieve all the other goals that I have set for myself. It's just that it's hard. And if it's hard for me, it's hard for other people. And if it's not hard in the same way, we're all in our own lanes and we're all navigating it to the best of our abilities. And that's it. Like, I don't have to look left or right. I don't have to look at the person next to me and how they're navigating this particular challenge, because it doesn't matter, you know? Like, it doesn't matter how person X or student Y dealt with step 1, or how they dealt with away applications or applying to research years, because what ultimately matters to me is how I'm dealing with it. And I know that I belong, and I know that this is meant for me, because I decided at one point that this is meant for me, and that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I just think it makes the thought process around imposter syndrome a lot easier to navigate, because I think ultimately it's just about not creating self-deprecating stories and narratives about how you're navigating something challenging, because it's gonna happen. This is a very hard field, and there are going to be a lot of tough moments, and there are going to be a lot of moments where you fail, or you don't do as well as you thought, or you compare yourself to the people around you. But I think the one grounding thought that you can keep coming back to is, if I decide I belong, if I decide that I deserve this, if I decide that this is something that I'm willing to work for, nothing else matters. It's not about if I reach my goals, it's about when I reach my goals. So I hope that if you took anything away from this video, it is that the only difference between you and you achieving your dreams is you deciding that those are your dreams and that you're willing to work for it. And then not looking left or right, not comparing yourself, not creating stories about what it means when you hit a roadblock, or when you are feeling like something's particularly challenging, not making it seem like, oh, I just don't have that skill, or I'm not cut out for it. None of that stuff is helpful. None of that stuff gets you closer to your goals, and just realizing that takes away half your issues. All right, so with that, I'll leave you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.